So this time, from the DC Universe Young Justice line, we're looking at Sportsmaster. Now, Sportsmaster was kind of hard to find, for me at least. I did finally find him in a Target store, along with the white-suited Superboy, but I really didn't want that version, so I just got him, and he was the only one there left. And I got him, I guess these go for $20, around there, $21, $20.99, something like that. Which Toys R Us, I think they're more like $22. So, you know, kind of a great deal. I expect that we'll see more of these discounted later on, but I didn't want to take the chance to miss out on Sportsmaster, so I went ahead and got it. Of course, all the Young Justice 6-inch figures, they come with these great bases, and so that really makes them worth the $20, I think. So first, before we take a look at the figure, how about we take a look at the back of the package here, at a brief little write-up on there. Not as much as you got with the DC Universe Classics, but still. So you get a picture of him from the show, and you can see the other figure offered in this wave, and some of the 4-inch 2-packs here. Young Justice, both the 6-inch and 4-inch line has been canceled. Now, I think they've pretty much said that the next wave, which would be Batman and Kid Flash, and they're definitely coming out. I'm not so sure about the Superboy and Guardian. We might get those. Those might go to specialty shops or closeout shops, because the major retailers will just sell them right to places like Ross and TJ Maxx and other places like that, and buy them at a discount. And so I don't know if we'll see these at Toys R Us or Target or Walmart. Hopefully we will, because they're a lot easier to find there than at the closeout stores. Why don't we take a look at the base first? So you have 4 pieces here that consist of the base. One has a hole for the training dummy, octagonal in shape. Another has the same octagonal hole for the target, and you can see that there. So those are interchangeable. You have one with a peg for the figure, and you have another with 2 small pegs that fit the weapons rack. Now, I'm not taking this off, but I think you can take it off if you just want a flat surface there. We'll go ahead and go through the weapons, and see that he has this javelin or spear. It does come pretty bent in packaging. I managed to straighten it out just a little bit. I think it's straight enough for purposes there, but there's his javelin. You get a boomerang. It's actually, I think, nicer than the Captain Boomerang from the DC Universe Classics. You get a pair of nunchucks there. All of these are made out of a very rubbery plastic here. You get an aluminum baseball bat. As you can see, that's pretty rubbery. Unfortunately, you get 2 knives, and you get 2 throwing stars. And all the edged weapons can be plugged into the little holes in the target here. You can see there's 3, 1 in the bullseye and 2 in the closest ring. You can fit any combination of the edged weapons that you can think of. You can even fit other edged weapons from other characters, such as arrows and stuff from Speedy, Red Arrow and Artemis. So the bases all have this linking system here. So you can, here, turn it over, and you can see each one has 3, I guess you would say, female connecting parts and 1 male connecting part. And so you can come up with a pretty neat combination, pretty neat layout combination here. If you, any way you can think of, you can do it all in in an L format, in a T format here, if you want to. Any way you can think of. And even if you don't like the way they lie like that, you can switch out the target and stuff. Maybe you want to do it a little bit like that. Lots of different ways to configure it, which is pretty cool. Now, getting to the figure itself, of course, very, very closely follows the animated series styling of the character, particularly in the face and head. However, I do think that more than some of the other figures in the Young Justice line that tend to reuse DC Universe parts, his legs here from the hips down really do have their own unique look to them, more like the animated style. He's got this neat little bunch of padding on his arm that's glued onto his shoulder, but it does still allow for a lot of articulation there, which is pretty neat. I thought that it might be glued right here, and that would interfere and stop it from moving at the shoulder like there, but you just kind of finagle it a little bit and it lifts up like that. And it's also, I thought it might be glued here at the underneath the bicep here, but that allows for the rotation, so that's pretty neat. He's also got an additional piece here glued onto his thigh that holds, I guess they're staves or other things here. Not quite as accurate to the character, as you can probably tell right here. Same thing with the belt. His little pouches appear to be a bit bigger in the design as opposed to the figure here. But that's not something that I'm held up on too much. There's pretty nice paint on this figure. I do like the white. It is very white. I think Mattel finally has realized how to do white on these figures with some of the Young Justice figures. I mean, the Superboy white costume is very white, and generally the whiteness of these things have improved from the DC Universe Classics characters, which tended to turn out gray. There's a little bit of paint on his back there, and other than that, the gray here at his boots is a little bit off where it's supposed to be, but not too much to complain about there. Nothing big. For articulation, he's got the standard for the DC Universe Classics and Young Justice. Head goes left and right, up and down, a little bit side to side. Well, not really. Arms do go all the way around. Again, the pads here look like they may impede the articulation, but they really don't. You see, there is the both shoulders raised out to the maximum side, and you can see they're pretty even, so that doesn't get in the way. And of course, he's got bicep rotation, bends at the elbow, rotates at the wrist. He's got ab articulation, more so back than forward. He rotates at the waist, goes forward, back at the hips, out to the side as well. He rotates at the lower thigh, bends at the knee there, and bends forward and back at the ankle. So Sportsmaster, or Lawrence Crusher Croc, first appears back in 1947 in All-Star number 85. And he first turns up as a frustrated athlete who has turned to crime in order to make a living. He becomes an enemy of the Golden Age Green Lantern. And it isn't until number 28 of that first volume of Green Lantern, also in 1947, that he refers to himself as the Sportsmaster. And he starts using more gimmicked up sports equipment, you know, exploding baseballs and, you know, clubs, golf clubs as hooks, and, you know, all sorts of gimmicks that look like just regular sports equipment. Eventually, he meets up with another Golden Age villainess called the Huntress. No connection to either the current Huntress or the Huntress from Earth 2 that was the daughter of Batman and Catwoman. Later on, as to avoid confusion, they changed her name to Tigress. And Tigress and Sportsmaster, they had a daughter who would eventually take up the name Tigress as well, and become a enemy of the spin-off group of the JSA, the Infinity Inc. After Earth 2 was merged with several other Earths into the DC universe of the 80s, there was a second Sportsmaster who took over when the first one had died, and he went by the name of Victor Gover. And he had a brief career where he fought the Mark Shaw Manhunter, and he was a member of the Suicide Squad. And he retired from being a costume criminal after being beaten severely by Wildcat. And he had the same shtick as the first one, the first Sportsman, using gimmicked up sports equipment to commit crimes. He kind of makes an appearance in the Justice League series as the character, the Sportsman, in the episode Legends, was modeled after the Golden Age version of him. Was voiced by Michael McKean. The animated DC universe does have the Sportsmaster show up in a couple of cameos in the Justice League Unlimited series, but no speaking roles. He doesn't get a speaking role until the shows up in the Batman: The Brave and the Bold, voiced by Thomas Biff Tanner Wilson, and he has a couple of 2 or 3 episodes in that series, and of course he makes it to Young Justice as the father of Artemis and Cheshire, and one of the top assassins / mercenaries that work for the mysterious organization known as the Light. And in the series, he's voiced by Nick Chinlund. I think that's how you say it. I guess that'll be it for the DC Universe Young Justice 6-inch Sportsmaster. And stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be able to find the Batman and Kid Flash when they come out. And until then, stay tuned.